Hey, what's up, fam? Hope you guys are doing well. So, there are so many notable biblical stories to inspire and guide us. But oftentimes, we're so caught up in the outcome of the amazing feats of the story that we miss minute details of the narrative that are really quite quintessential to the actual mission of the message. So, there's one story that most of us are familiar with where a future king defeats a giant from an enemy army, David and Goliath, right? And so, we often get led to the part of the story where David slew the giant with his sling. Incredible feat, right? Flawless victory, Mortal Kombat. But we may miss some very profound and even prolific key details in the story. And so the basic gist of the story is that David, a farmer, a herder, a shepherd, right? David volunteered to accept the challenge issued by the enemy army, the Philistines, who were at war with Israel. So the Philistines were out on the battlefield and they were talking big smack about Israel, about the Most High. And from that Philistine army comes this massive monster of a man, the colossal career soldier. He's like 10 feet tall, full body armor, OP weaponry. It's like 200 pounds worth of stuff. And this giant, this Philistine giant, issues a challenge to Israel. And nobody, I mean, nobody in the whole army of Israel had courage enough to accept the challenge. They were all terrified. And challenge, it was actually issued like 80 times across 40 days. But David, the shepherd, he was willing to fight for Father God and he accepted the challenge. That's not even a piece we don't pick up. One thing is that the king of Israel at the time, Saul, he tried to outfit David with that man-made armor, helmet, coat of arms, a sword. But David doesn't accept because he has big faith in the Most High, and he's already protected with the full armor of Yah. So he goes into battle, right, equipped with what he's familiar with, his faith. Ooh. And so another thing we might miss is that Goliath, the enemy giant, he wasn't alone, right, when he went into battle against David. He had an armor bearer with him that went out in front of him. And Goliath also had the whole Philistine army touting other giants behind him that, unlike Israel, the enemy army, they weren't filled with fear. But David still accepted the challenge to fight as the soldier of the Heavenly Father against another seasoned soldier, a wicked warrior, right? That everybody was afraid of. Mission impossible. Mission accepted. But the most encouraging, the most inspiring, the most galvanizing piece of all this is how little 5'6" David behaved in the face of the 10-foot enemy, the giant. What character he displayed when facing this giant of a threat. David ran forward, y'all. He ran forward to meet the challenge. He advanced. He stepped into. He sought out his enemy, this giant, with the intention of slaying him. So you got the Philistines on one side of this valley, Israelites on the other side, and in the middle is the valley. And Goliath's approaching David. David runs forward to meet the giant in battle. And it was basically like, you're going to get these hands on sight. Sometimes you hear that phrase, dance like, or we want to dance like David danced, but we got to do what David did. We all have our own giants that we're facing or fighting against. Addiction, depression, abuse, even things like that, where we make a compromise on our moral compass. Whatever the giant is, we can't allow our giants to approach and encroach on our territory. We got to boldly go meet our giants so that we can defeat our giants before they lay foothold in our territory or over our life. We can't allow our giants to get comfortable and settle in without some kind of challenge. We find them and we finish them. Literally, Mortal Kombat. All right, fam. Read y'all Bibles. Talk with y'all soon.
My beloved, my beautiful one, you shine bright.